Hey everybody, it's Atheist for the Cause here with the Trump Presidency Issues Series Part 3, and I'm going to be taking on immigration and the wall this time. So you have a look here. It says Trump's immigration enforcement helped slow illegal border crossings by 76%. So right there, you can tell that President Trump has had a big impact on illegal immigration. Illegal immigration across the southwestern border is down a stunning 76% since President Trump was elected, with the flow of children and families dropping even faster as analysts say the administration's commitment to enforcing the law has changed the reality along the border. Overall, apprehensions by the Border Control dropped to just 11,000 in April, according to numbers released Tuesday, marking the lowest monthly total for any month in decades. The number of unaccompanied illegal immigrant children nabbed at the border dropped below 1,000, a level not seen since before the surge that bedeviled President Obama during most of the second term. And now just to go through some of the other statistics, it says at its peak early in the last decade, the Tucson sector, which is just one of 9 regions along the border, regularly recorded more than 70,000 apprehensions in a single month. Last month, Tucson reported fewer than 1,500 arrests. So you go from 70,000 to 1,500. Activity has shifted to the Rio Grande Valley sector in Texas, with nearly 4,000 apprehensions in April. Still, that's a fraction of the 22,000 apprehensions recorded in October, and fewer still than the nearly 40,000 arrests at the peak of the Central American surge in 2014. So it went from 40,000 down to 22,000 down to 4,000. One indication that the change is a result of immigration enforcement rather than better border security is the flow of drugs, which remains high. And this is where we're going to get into the need for the wall, which I'll get into that later. The wall will do a lot in helping to prevent the trafficking of drugs. Some of them would lodge asylum claims, having been coached by family and friends of activists on magic words that would earn them tentative legal status in the U.S., the former Border Patrol chief testified to Congress last year. And a big problem with this is that when people actually do need to get in, they can't because, when there actually is a case of asylum, they can't get in because so many people are faking it. Those numbers have also dropped dramatically from about 15,000 a month late last year to fewer than 5,000 a month under Mr. Trump. So those kinds of asylum claims went from 15,000 a month down to 5,000 a month. Haitians in particular had been abusing that system, with nearly 3,500 showing up on the doorstep of the U.S. in October. But that number fell to just 49 in April. That's about as low as you can get. So that gives you some of the statistics. Long story short, illegal border crossings have been slowed by 76%. This is basing off arrests, which isn't perfect, but it's something. So then we have the border wall. And has the border wall been constructed yet? No. But we'll start here where there have been all of these proposals. In fact, there have been hundreds of proposals. So the Trump administration has been taking some steps. And here's another proposal. Trump administration has been taking some steps. And although they don't have the funding yet, they're doing what they can. So it says construction for prototypes of President Trump's controversial border wall is set to be completed by this fall, according to U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Hundreds of companies submitted proposals for the proposed wall to be built between the USA and Mexico. According to the acting deputy commissioner Ronald Vitello, 4 to 8 prototypes will take 30 days to build. So they are constructing some prototypes, not the actual wall, just some prototypes. The prototypes will be built in Haute Mese and will be 30 feet tall, unclimbable, and have at least 6 feet of underground wall to prevent from digging. Where there was once lawless and undeveloped land, Vitalio said, adding, neighborhoods were built and communities and commerce grew. The San Diego Union Tribune reports no contracts have been awarded as of yet, but Trump wants solar panels on the wall, and the process has been delayed from June to September. According to Democratic staff of the U.S. Senate Committee on Homeland Security and Government Affairs, money for the wall hasn't been approved by Congress, but $20 million was taken from the mobile video surveillance used by the Customs and Border Protection to build the prototypes. So they are finding ways to get around and find funds for these prototypes. Now, there have been two things that Trump has said he's wanted. One, as I just mentioned, is a wall that generates solar power. And if you want, you can find all different kinds of proposals for walls. But I wanted to go over this one a little bit. I've done a more in-depth video in the past if you want to find it. I think it's in my playlist, but it says, Gleason Partners LLC, a Las Vegas-based architecture firm, submitted a proposal to the Department of Homeland Security that includes solar panels. The wall would generate enough power to pay for its construction in under 20 years, Gleason told BI, which is Business Insider. Other energy experts have estimated it would take much longer because many parts of the border are obstructed and unsuitable for solar arrays. But this wouldn't be through the whole strip. It would just be in certain locations. A solar wall might not be totally out of the question. In early June, President Trump himself pitched Republican leaders on a proposal to cover the wall with PVs. Our intent is to offer a realistic, no-nonsense design for the wall, and that pays for itself, that will make everybody happy, including our president, Gleason said. And of course, they're claiming that, you can technically say that Mexico is paying for the wall if we sell energy to Mexico. That's one way that Mexico could technically pay for it. It's not a big deal for me if Mexico doesn't pay for it, but in terms of what Trump promised, that was a clear promise. So, the wall's set to be around $20 billion. And there was, I guess this one, it's the same as this one. This one's a little more in detail, but basically it's a plexiglass wall where the U.S. can see through to the Mexico side, but the Mexico side can't see through to the U.S. side. And President Trump has said he wants this as well. And it's, I don't know, it's interesting. I don't see it as very necessary, but if it can be done, throw it on. I don't have a problem with combining these ideas either. Like some of them are cultural, like this one's making a park and stuff like that. If you could make cities or some of them wanted to run fiber into the wall and all kinds of stuff. So I think some of these, here's a hyperloop wall idea. Some of these ideas are probably impractical, but so they're interesting to go through the different ones, and maybe you can combine some of them. But overall, you have the solar wall idea, you have the and then you have the plexiglass idea, you have the construction of these prototypes with the financial backing to actually construct them. It's going to take about 30 days, and they're going to start at September, I think it was. Yeah, it's going to start in September, so these prototypes will be done quickly. And so I think this is enough to say that the wall has been started. Not the official wall, but the process for the wall has been started and is significantly into the stages. I mean, it's got a long ways to go, but they're doing what they can right now. And combine that with the reduction of illegal immigration, um, because in this sense, I think it works to go off of arrest, since we know that the Trump administration actually is arresting people. And, they're trying to, they're not just letting people go. So, and not enforcing the policy. So, this is very good news overall, and Trump is making a big positive impact. And whether you agree with all of these policies or not, this is what he promised, and he's following through. So that's what I have for you for today. This has been part 3. In previous parts, I've covered the economy. That was part 2, and ISIS in part 1. And I've got trade deals, regulations, Paris Accord, and the Supreme Court to cover yet. So keep an eye open for those in the future. Like, subscribe, and share. I'd really appreciate it, and I'll talk to you guys later.